Alright, so today it's Foundation Friday, but it is not just any Foundation Friday, it is update time. Got my iced coffee. So every single Friday on my channel, I do a first impression Foundation Friday video. If it's not a first impression, it's some kind of video having to do with foundation. If you're new here, welcome. And then every few months I like to do these update videos, which basically gives me a chance to update you guys on the foundations once I've tried them some more, tried them in different ways, if I still like them, if I don't like them, if my thoughts have changed at all since the first impression review, just give you the full scoop on each product. But if you're excited for Foundation Friday and you enjoy while you're watching, you can give this a thumbs up. My mouth is not keeping up with my brain right now. Sometimes I find myself when I watch videos wondering if that person still likes something or if it was just like a one-time kind of thing, if it's become their holy grail product. So as a viewer, I find this kind of thing helpful, so I hope you guys do too. Let me know down below. But I don't like to do these super often because it does take me a long time to thoroughly test foundations since I test so many products all the time. It takes me a long time to be able to do these kind of videos where I feel confident in the information that I'm telling you because I've tested them enough. So that's where we're at. Let's get into it. Okay, so let's start out with the Drugstore foundation that was a newer release from Revlon. It's the Candid Glow Anti-Pollution Foundation. Have a whole Foundation Friday full day wear test review on this product, along with most of the other foundations. A couple of them I don't actually, which I'll explain why. But in the description box down below, I'll have the video right below each product so you can click through and watch that. So just by the sound of this, I thought it was just going to be a beautiful, glowy, kind of more light to medium coverage product. And it is a little bit glowy. It's definitely not nearly as glowy as some of the foundations I'm going to talk about. The thing I don't like about this is that it just does not wear well and hold up on my skin. I get a lot of creasing with this one, and I like light coverage glowy products if they don't crease on me, and I definitely have a handful of products like that don't. Because if I'm going to be wearing something more light coverage and glowy, I typically just want it to look like skin and just kind of even everything out. So that's typically how I would wear a product like this. But even using a light amount, I literally just use the smallest dot and put it all over my face because I was like, maybe that will help with the creasing issue. This one just doesn't wear well on my skin, doesn't look good. If you want light coverage glowy products, I have other options here that are way better than this one. So I would just say save your 12 or 14 bucks and pass on that. All right, next is a product that I actually don't have a Foundation Friday review on. I know, shocking, but sometimes products come in PR where I just don't think that many people will be interested in seeing like a dedicated Foundation Friday review on, and that was this for me. It's the Givenchy Tint Couture City Balm. So I kind of just on a whim tested this out one day, not on camera or anything. I kind of was thinking this was going to be like the Burberry Tin Moisturizer Balm where I don't know, I just didn't have high hopes for this at all. I didn't film it. I didn't think it was going to be anything spectacular. I actually have worn this in a couple videos now I'm thinking about it, so I'll leave that down below if I can find the link. But this product is friggin' beautiful. It is totally unlike what I was picturing just with the name Balm, like a city balm. I would call this a soft matte medium coverage foundation. I don't think they really marketed this one the right way because to me this almost seems like the Lawless Woke Up Like This foundation where it's a very flattering soft matte that just looks like skin. It does have SPF 25 in it, which is nice. It feels very lightweight and it's just comfortable on the skin. It is buildable, and if you're someone who likes medium coverage and you don't want it to be too dewy but you don't want it to be too cakey matte, I think this could be a really good option. It just looks like skin on me, which is difficult to do with matte foundations. That's really pretty rare, and this is really nice. I use the lightest shade, which is N104. Wears really well on my skin as well. It doesn't like break down, nothing funky happens. It's just a good medium coverage matte foundation. How many times should I say it? But I really like this one. Okay, next up is a foundation that is definitely not new at all. I haven't done a recent review on it or anything, but sometimes I just like to throw on other foundations that I have been testing again, whether I just kind of whipped it out from my collection and I've been trying it again, or whatever it is. So this is one of those. It's the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow. I really wanted to try this again now that I have drier skin after Accutane, before I had oily skin, and this foundation has never looked good on me, and I was really excited to try this again because I was like, what if this is just one of those that looks totally different? A lot of people absolutely love this foundation and they get good coverage and it looks beautiful. Like I've seen it look good on other people. It's just one of those products that still, even with my skin now, looks so bad on my skin. It just looks so crepey, creases like crazy on me, and then it almost looks like crusty when it sets down. At first it looks good when it goes on like right away, but then give it 10 minutes of sitting on my skin, and I'm ready to wipe it off. I have a handful of other foundations that have a similar kind of idea that just look better on me. So I'm going to mention a couple of those in a second. Actually, let's just do that one now. So that one that I would say get this instead of this, both Drugstore, is the L'Oreal Age Perfect Radiant Serum Foundation. This is a new product. It has SPF 50, which is great. I use the lighter shade Ivory 10. This has a very strong vanilla scent, so I would say that's the only thing where I'm like, I don't know, man. I mean, it smells really good, but it almost smells like it should be a lipstick, and I would rather my foundation just not have fragrance in it. It's called Radiant Serum Foundation, and I would say that is spot on. The formula of this does feel like a serum foundation to me. It is super glowy. The only thing is, this one on me, I would say wears well for about half a day. I don't think this is a all day long wearing foundation, but again, because this is kind of light to medium coverage, this actually you can get solid like medium coverage out of, depending on how much you use, if you use a brush versus a sponge, but you can get medium coverage with this. I just wouldn't say it's one of those foundations that's going to last all day. It does kind of tend to look crappier the second half of the day on my skin. However, on me, I like wearing this one more sheer, and typically if I'm doing that kind of a foundation day, I don't want or need my foundation to last like 10 hours. It's normally if I'm like going to run an errand, going on a walk, whatever it is. I want to like even out my skin tone. I just want it to look healthy and glowy, but I'm not trying to do like a full face of makeup or have it, you know, last through everything. That's when I would wear this foundation, and this is a foundation that does a lot better with a primer underneath. Just overall looks better with a primer. I really like it with the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. All right, so let's talk about a foundation that is not dewy and that is polar opposite. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Foundation. So this one I tried in a Charlotte Tilbury One brand tutorial. That's going up on the 11th. When is this video going up? I can't remember. But I actually filmed that video over a month ago, maybe even like a month and a half ago now. So that one you guys will just be seeing, but I have now tested this foundation, and this one I am very torn on, because on one hand it is super long lasting, it is full coverage, and it just stays on, almost like wears better throughout the day, which is odd. Like the shade, like the coverage, I have the shade 2 Neutral. You just have to be really careful with how you apply this, because you can easily get too much product and then it looks cakey and kind of dry and just not great. But if you prep your skin really well with this one, you don't use too much product. I would say I use maybe about half the amount of foundation that I normally do when I use this foundation, because the coverage is there, so you don't need a ton of it. But also, like I said, if you use too much, it can get really cakey looking really quickly. This one I like. I haven't found like the absolute best combo as far as products for underneath and over top, but generally if I use glowy products underneath and then I use a setting spray over top and I use half the amount that I normally would, it turns out looking good and it lasts throughout the whole day. So I feel like if I really try and nail down the perfect products to go in combination with this, I could have like a really good foundation situation. But I do like this one if you like full coverage matte. If you try it out and you don't like it right off the bat, give it a chance. It is kind of one of those finicky foundations to me, like same kind of situation with the Urban Decay Stay Naked foundation. I love this foundation, but there's definitely like very specific things I have to do with this product, and it is one of those that you kind of have to like give a chance. Next is one of those foundations that a lot of people absolutely love, and for me, I have tried so many different things to make this work, and it just doesn't look good on my skin. It's the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Dewy Foundation. It looks beautiful at first. It gives me that like effect that I love with dewy, kind of more plumping foundations. It looks beautiful at first, but then it just starts to crease horribly on me and almost just starts breaking down, looking heavy in certain areas. And I've tried to use this sheer where I just do a drop and just try and like even out my redness and see if that helps. Still doesn't look great. If you want a similar kind of look where it's dewy and plumping, but this also didn't work for you, I'm going to give you 2 other recommendations right now. And these are both ones that I was going to give updates on. So the first one, let's do the Estee Lauder Futurist Hydra Rescue. You guys, this is beautiful. I really like this one. I liked it when I did the review on it, and it has just kind of continued on in that direction. This looks beautiful every time I wear it. I can wear this one in different ways, where if I set it with like my Makeup Forever powder foundation and kind of mattify it more but it doesn't look too heavy, or I can just wear this where it's on its own and it just looks beautiful. This is like a true plumping, dewy, makes you look really youthful and just radiant kind of foundation. It has SPF 45. I wear the lightest shade 1N0, which is definitely not very light, so if you're any more fair than me, this would probably be too dark. It's borderline a little bit too dark for me, maybe like half a shade, but because of the undertone, I think it's fine. This one can be really versatile because you can use a tiny amount and kind of get more sheer coverage, or you can build this up and get a solid like high medium coverage, I would say. But the big thing for me with this foundation is that it doesn't crease. Friggin' hallelujah. And the unique thing with this is that it actually feels weirdly airy and light. And then the other foundation I would say get if you're going for that super glowy, dewy look, like this one is definitely more dewy than the Estee Lauder. This is probably the dewiest out of any of the ones I'm going to mention. And it looks like skin, is the Haley's Beauty BB Drops. I use these in my glass skin makeup tutorial. Just love these. You just drop them on. I just drop them on directly on my face, blend it out. I can actually get decent coverage with this, or you can wear it very sheer. I would say I can get medium coverage with these. The shade is perfect for me, and they just give me that super glowy look where I cannot see the product sitting on my skin at all. It doesn't cling to any kind of texture, but just keep in mind, very glowy. They have marula oil in them, so it's definitely like a very glowy, healthy, radiant looking product. Whenever I do these update videos, I feel like I'm just repeating the same 15 adjectives. Not even 15, that's being a little generous. Maybe 3 adjectives, but it's like, what else can I say about a foundation, you know? Okay, so here's the JCat Skinsurance Max Coverage Silky Foundation. So for me, this one kind of just missed the mark. I don't think it is max coverage. Like, I wouldn't call this a full coverage foundation. This one looks great on my forehead, but I wouldn't wear this just on my forehead, obviously. And then like a different foundation down here, that would be just a little bit too high maintenance. Like I'm high maintenance with my foundations and mixing, but that's next level. So for me, this one just really breaks down and does not look great on the bottom half of my face, which is typically where I get a lot of creasing in this area. And I just think you could pass on this one. Nothing really stands out to me about this that I like. If you have been watching my videos recently, you've probably already heard me rave about this because I mentioned it in my April Raisin Rejects, and I tested it in the Korean makeup video where I did a full face testing Korean makeup. It's the Peri Peri Ink Lasting Cover Foundation, SPF 30. I have 2 shades of this, 01 and 02. You guys, this is one of the most beautiful foundations I have ever found. Great coverage, looks so smooth on the skin, and just, this is what I would call like a silky foundation. Has such a beautiful, dewy, plumping finish, all the things I like, all of the adjectives, you know, but this one is just stunning. And this you can get for under 15 bucks on YesStyle. Had a lot of you guys tell me on Instagram or DM me that you got this and you love it, and that makes me so happy. Makes me really happy anytime a foundation recommendation works out for a lot of you. And this is one of those foundations that, from what I've been hearing from you guys, has been working for a lot of people. So that's awesome. And it is a full fluid ounce, even though it looks really tiny. So it's affordable, beautiful. Like, there's nothing bad to say about this product for me, which is pretty rare. So we just have 2 more here to talk about. This is the Misha Perfect Cover BB Cream number 13. So I got this because of Jessica Braun, and she loves this foundation. It's like her go-to. I think she mixes this with a CoverGirl one, but I don't love this mixed in with anything. For me, I feel like it doesn't really add anything, and I also feel like if I try and get coverage out of this, or even apply it just how I normally would, it just doesn't work for me. Like, I just have foundations that look better, products that look better. But I do really like this wearing very sheer. If you just put on a tiny bit of this and spread it all over your face for no makeup days, like if I'm only putting on lip gloss and brow gel, it does a really good job of evening out my redness. If you want to see how it looks in that way, it's what I had on in the Q&A in my car video that I did a few months ago, so I'll link that in the eye and down below. But that's what I had on, and when I wear it in that way, it does look like skin. It cancels out some of the redness, and it looks like I basically have nothing on, which is ideal, but it still gives me a little bit of a glow without being overboard. I just don't love this one if I'm wearing it in any other way. So if you're looking for a product like that, but maybe you don't want it super glowy like the BB drops, then this could be kind of a good medium. All right, and then last is a foundation that literally no one has ever asked about, but it's one of those that I discovered a while ago, and it's just been sitting on my desk, and I've been waiting to kind of like retry it because I remember liking it the first time I used it, but I just, you know, you get sucked into testing all the new stuff, then you kind of forget about other products, or I do. But anyways, this is the Visible Lift Serum Absolute Foundation from L'Oreal. I have the lightest shade 143 Soft Ivory. I should look up if they even still make this, honestly, because it's been a while. They do still sell this. It's 12 bucks on Target. I kind of feel like this is an underrated product. I almost feel like they should take this formula and like relaunch it as a different foundation, because it's a really good formula that I feel like a lot of people would like. It's just kind of outdated looking and it's been around for forever. And I just think it's one of those L'Oreal foundations that kind of gets overlooked. I actually think I first found this when I did the Drugstore Hidden Gems video like a long time ago, a few years ago. So for me, this was one of those products that I had just never noticed in the drugstore and decided to try. And I'm glad I did, because it is a medium coverage, I would say satin finish. It kind of looks dewier when it first goes on, but then when it sets down, the dew kind of chills out a little bit, and I would say it just kind of turns into more of a satin finish. But the thing I like about this one is that it's not a tacky finish. It does dry down a little bit, so I don't feel like I need to set this with any kind of powder. It has a really pretty neutral undertone, so the shade works for me as well. It looks good on my forehead. This isn't a clinger. It's just kind of a very even, smooth, no fuss kind of foundation for me. It just covers what I want covered, but it still looks natural. And if you try this one, definitely use the setting spray over top. It like takes it to the next level. Very beautiful. All right, so those are some foundation updates for you. If there's a foundation that I've recently reviewed that I didn't mention in this video, it'll be in the next update video. Like I said, it takes me a while, like a few months at least, to really get a grip on all of these. And I take notes. Have a notebook here that I go through and take notes when I'm testing stuff. But if there is any specific ones you want to know about, let me know down below. And the foundation on my face right now, by the way, is none of the ones that I wore today because I'm testing a different one. But this is the BB Super Plus by Skin 79. And holy crap, you guys, this totally blew me away. This is the first time I'm using this one, but it is full coverage. Like, there is a crap ton of coverage in here. I just wasn't expecting it. And so far I'm really liking it. I've actually had it on my foundation for about 6 hours at this point. It's later on in the day right now. And so far I'm liking it. I think it looks good, but I'm sure this will be in the next update video. On my lips today, I'm wearing Butter London Tea with the Queen. Great name, great shade name. For my eyes, I just have on lashes. These are Scarlet by AOA. These are $1. And I just put on some random shimmery shadow. Bronzer, I used like a combo of a few things. Highlight, I used Ice Me Out by Kylie Cosmetics. I'll link the hair clip, nail polish, rings, everything else down below in the description box. But I hope you guys enjoyed this Foundation Friday and found it helpful. I love you guys. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.